Each one of these glowing dots represents someone with a smartphone. They're moving about their day just like many of us. But what you don't see is in the background. There's someone, something who is right there and knows more about you than you realize. Your name, your birthday, your hobbies, and even where you are right now. We're in San Francisco to meet with Patrick Jackson. He's the Chief Technology Officer for Disconnect.
Hey, I'm Ananda. Oh, yeah, nice to meet you.
He's a data sleuth.
I started back in high school, and then I studied computer science in college. And then I went to work at the NSA for 5 years after college, where I focused on emerging mobile and wireless technologies.
I gave him access to my personal cell phone. He was able to see all my apps and what information they were collecting.
When did I sign up to let everyone know about all my information?
You know, typically it happens when you first download the app. There's some screens that you just click through and nobody reads them, you know, and honestly, like I don't read all the privacy policies that I come across because they're long and it's written by lawyers and it's not meant to be consumed by regular people.
We start going through the long list of code he compiled in 2 weeks from my phone.
Postmates was very chatty with a lot of data collectors, and they're sending things that they don't have to send. So not only were they sending your GPS location, they were sending things about ratings of places that you ordered from. So to Branch, which was also in Starbucks.
Branch is a company that collects data for apps. I spoke to their CEO to clarify what they do with the information.
Basic premise is we make links work for apps so that when you click on a link, it opens up the app that you have and takes you to the right place.
Branch says it collects basic information I saw in some of the data with other apps, such as when I opened and closed them. However, Postmates sent my location to Branch, which is against Branch's term of service. We reached out to Postmates several times via email and on Twitter, but the only response we got back was that they would pass along the information. They didn't give us a statement or respond by the deadline we gave them as to why they were giving out our information. As we look through the rest of the data, some apps were giving away my email, birthday, and what phone I was using. However, one was even more unexpected. It was my Xfinity alarm app. The information was being collected by a company called Localytics.
It says here that you have available cams 3. And again, this may be data that may not be 100% accurate, but in talking to you, we could potentially verify that. It says you have 1 motion sensor. We also know that how long it takes for when you go to the keypad to disarm or arm it. We have how many seconds that takes.
We reached out to Comcast, who told us they work with Localytics to help improve the app. They also tell me although that information is being collected, it's encrypted and can't be tied back to a person or their location.
There shouldn't be a trade-off of your security for Comcast to have this nice dashboard where they can click through and see how many people are using their app. And you shouldn't have to trust a company that you've never heard of, Localytics, with, you know, whether your security system is armed or not and how many cameras you have.
Comcast says it has strict contracts with the outside companies they work with, like Localytics. But what about the other companies and their policies? Branch says it purges information they collect within 7 days, but other companies may not follow the same rules. There's a possibility they could sell your information, which could be used against you.
Then they could start to feed you information. And maybe this information is not for you to click on an ad. Maybe it's for your blood to boil. Maybe you see something, maybe you're conservative and you see something that you may deem as a liberal ad.
So how do we get out of this? One quick way is right on the iPhone. You go to Settings, Privacy, and down to Advertising, and turn on Limit Ad Tracking. It's one less piece of information companies can get from you. Delete apps you don't even use. Many of them still work in the background even when you're not in them. And if you want to download an app, check their policy. Some of those free apps could be making money off of tracking you.